All right. All right. Hi, everybody. This is Z Awana coming to you from Nova Notes Meetup and Awana Holdings. And you know the drill. We're going to go through our slides, just our introductory slides real quick so I can get to my special guest, Ms. Daphne Wilson from Note Newbie. All right, so let's get it. So of course, I first go over my disclaimer. So, I'm not offering any type of shares or financial products or anything like that. No legal advice, nor is my guest. So I will do the disclaimer on her behalf as well. And we're not offering to solicit any securities or anything like that. So if you need any of those type of services or advice, please seek those professionals out. Okay. So a little bit about myself for those of you who don't know me, or maybe it's your first time coming in onto the blog. My name is Ninzi Awana. Again, people affectionately call me Z. I am a retired Navy veteran and retired after 20 years, almost 20 years ago. And I've been a federal contracting officer since that time. And have a bachelor's and a master's in education and a master's in public administration. Been real estate investing informally for a little over 30 years, just, the typical rent your house out, to tenants. And that was what I thought was the extent of it. I started my business, Awana Holdings, in 2018. And I started the business with the intent of going into fix and flips. And little did I know that there was something called mortgage note investing. And once I found that out, it was off to the races. So I've been, doing note investing since then and just enjoying it and learning more about it and meeting new people, as one of my guests up you'll see next. So here are some ways that you can get in touch with me. As you can see, I'm all over the place. So you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, here on Meetup, my YouTube page at Awana Holdings, or you can email me, or my website, which I don't have up here, is awanarnh.com. And you can go on there and see all the videos of my guests, or on my YouTube as well. So first of all, I like to go into just very, very basically what a mortgage note is. And we'll talk a little bit more about that with Ms. Daphne as she comes up. But essentially, if you have a mortgage on your home, you are the borrower. And what we do here as the bank, as we say, we are the bank, we secure your mortgage with a note. And we are the bank. So we don't own your home. You own your home as a borrower. And the only way that we get to own your home is if for some reason we would end up having to foreclose on it, which, like I always say, most note investors don't want your home. So we want you to make your payments. So that's just a little bit of a difference there. So we don't own the property. We own the paper on the property. Okay. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest, Ms. Daphne Wilson from Note Newbie. And I appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us and share some of your insights and wisdom. And here's some ways that you can get in touch with Ms. Daphne. You see her website there, her email, and her phone number. I am going to take this down. And, as always, these are all recorded. So you back and see this information and get in contact with Ms. Daphne should you desire to do so. So let me stop sharing. And hey, Daphne, wow, this is the most people I've ever had. I told you. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
That is awesome.
So yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you so much for joining me on my little show. And
Thank you so
your
much for having me.
presence. I appreciate it. So
Yeah, this is such a privilege, such a privilege. Thank you so much for what you're doing, really, for our community. This is so important to let people know that that note investing is out there. Just to give you a little bit of information about me, I'm originally from Chicago. I moved to South Florida about 5 years ago for the warmer weather. And I'm a single mom. I have twin daughters. They're in their 30s, and I have a 3-year-old grandson. My professional background is in information technology. I have a degree in computer science, and I had
So that
no.
makes sense that you would be in note investing, huh?
Well, no,
No,
I
I
don't
know.
feel like it really prepared me for note investing. Because note investing isn't really IT intensive. It's kind of more research intensive. Um, but yeah, and that was my background. I had no prior real estate experience other than owning my own home.
Right.
But I've always been an entrepreneur at heart.
Okay.
But I held on to the belief that entrepreneurship was risky and in most cases doomed to fail. And so so I always took the safe route until I realized after a few corporate downsizings that it wasn't as safe as I had originally thought. Um, so I began looking for a way to retire myself by the time I was 50, which was a lofty goal.
Okay. It
Um,
could be done. It could be done.
it was a lofty goal, but something inside of me just kept saying that, that I could do it, and it wasn't long before I started, believing it.
Right, right. And so how did you find out about notes? And once you made that decision that, okay, I think I'm gonna retire myself, or, maybe get into investing, any kind of investing, not just notes, but what drew you to notes? What was attractive about notes to you?
So this begins my seventh, I'm actually in my 7th year investing in notes. I have no, real estate experience at all prior to this. I began actually investing and really investing in 2014. And I've been I was looking for a way to, get out of a 25-year IT career. I earned a great salary, but I was burned out from working long hours. And I really just wanted to be, financially free, not rich. I really, I had a real low,
Low expectation.
right, real low expectations. I
Okay.
just wanted to not have to worry about how my bills were going to get paid. I didn't want to have to wonder if I was going to be able to, afford to go on a vacation, or, I could only go on one a year because
Right.
I didn't have that. I just wanted to be comfortable and just be able to not worry about things financially. So that's what I mean by financially free.
Right.
And just have time to really enjoy my life, leave a legacy and set an example of what was possible for my family. So it's funny. It's funny how the age of 50 will slip up on you. It's like one month I was 35, right? 1 month I was 35, and the next month I was 48.
It
It's
does
like,
seem like that.
yes. And then, that's when I really started thinking about, how I wanted to spend the second half of my life.
Right.
And so I said, a lot of millionaires are made in real estate. I'm going to look at real estate as a possible way to retire myself. So I attended this free real estate seminar that they put on all over the country.
Seems like that's how it starts for everybody.
Yes. I'm sitting in there and, the guy opens up the seminar and he says, oh, these are the top 10 or 12 ways people make money in real estate. And, somewhere around number 6 or 7, he says, regular ordinary people can buy the mortgage. And instead of the homeowner paying the bank every month for the next 30 years, they'll send you the payment.
Mm.
And I thought, you got to be kidding me. So of course I looked around.
Exact expression when I learned about it.
Right.
I'm looking around like, is anybody else hearing this?
Right. And nobody, it was like nobody else heard it except for me. So, at the break, I walk up, I talk to the guy, I say, we're going to talk some more about this mortgage note thing. And he says, well, this isn't the seminar for that. We're going to talk about wholesaling and fixing and flipping and all that. And I wasn't interested in any of that. So, I pretty much just left and went home and just started researching. So, I began using my own capital, when I first started investing in notes, and now I still use my own capital because the assets that I was purchasing, the notes that I'm purchasing were at a very affordable price point for me, since I didn't have 50 grand sitting around in my bank account. It was really more like 8 grand.
Right.
So,
but it's good that you say that, though, because a lot of people feel like they need that 50 grand to start out, or the 150, or whatever, and just feel like it's unattainable. But
right. And that's what I thought too, because it didn't dawn on me until after, well, when I was hearing him talking about mortgage notes at the seminar, I thought he was talking about, I'm sure he was probably talking about first mortgages. Right. So, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, that's a $200,000, $300,000 mortgage. I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to buy that, but just doing the research on my own, I came across, potentially buying seconds. And that just turned out to be much more affordable for me. And, so, and also, I was, not only was the affordability, but I was also still working a full-time job. And I didn't have a whole lot of time to manage property.
Right.
So yeah.
So with well, like for myself anyway, did you go through the phase of taking all the trainings and doing reading all the books on all of the real estate investing forums, things like that, and
No.
For me, I wouldn't even call it analysis paralysis, but I took a lot of the training, but I did, a lot of self-learning myself as well. So how did you go about attaining your training for notes, or was it just all self-taught, self-learned?
No, it wasn't for me. First of all, I am highly risk averse. I do not take a lot of risk, and definitely not with my money. Okay. And so, and I learned best by doing. So what I immediately sought out was a mentor. I wanted to find someone in the space that was willing to teach me and mentor me in this business, because in my mind, that was the shortest and the least risky. I could try and figure it out on my own. I mean, I have a college degree, and I worked in corporate America, and I probably could have, with a lot of time and attention, figured it out for the most part, but I didn't want to make a lot of mistakes. I didn't have a lot of money to make a lot of mistakes with. And I figured the best route for me is to learn from somebody that was already successful. And so I sought out a mentor. And even now, I have 3 mentors actually in this space right now.
Yeah, I'm just like me. I'm just picking up mentors as I go along.
Yes.
So you have to. So what are some of the things that or how has the current environment, because although I know you have your training program, but how has, I guess, purchasing notes, being still in this pandemic environment, kind of how has that affected your purchasing of notes? Are you finding that the notes are a lot more expensive? The quality of the notes? I hear a lot of different things from a lot of different investors, but I just like to ask that question of the people who are actively buying.
Yes. So, one of the questions I get a lot now is, are your homeowners impacted? Are you having trouble getting homeowners to pay? And, I must say, I've been very blessed. I really only had about 3 homeowners that have been impacted by the pandemic. And since my business model has always been to help and not hurt, I worked with them to make a couple of minor adjustments that was mutually beneficial. And in most of those cases, it was, adjusting their monthly payments and making a lower monthly payment for a fixed period of time, and then kind of getting them to ramp up as things got better. So that's been great. No doubt, it's an unprecedented time in our industry right now. The foreclosure moratorium is coming to an end, and there's hundreds of thousands of homeowners that are delinquent in their mortgages right now. And quite honestly, we haven't really started to see these loans yet on the secondary market,
Right.
but I believe that they are coming. You can't have that much delinquency in the market and not have those loans trickle down to the secondary market. So they are coming, and and as a note investor, that is all about helping people stay in their homes. It's a great time, because when I first got started in the note business in 2014, all I heard investors talk about was, oh, you should have been around in 2008.
I know.
Real estate, and I'm just thinking,
I still hear it. I still hear it.
I missed out on the boom,
Oh, look
but
at the prices. You should have got them back when they were in 2008,
right,
when they were
right.
$2.
Oh my goodness, how many times have I heard that? But now, lo and behold, now we have another, there's another opportunity here. So as a matter of fact, just last week, there was a new rule that was adopted by the federal government that requires investors and servicers to review an application from homeowners before initiating foreclosure. Okay, and that new rule is in effect until the end of this year. So essentially, what the federal government is asking us to do is what many of us are already doing.
Anyway.
Right. We're helping homeowners stay in their home and avoid foreclosure. So that's nothing new for us.
So with that though, don't you think that since the larger lenders, banks, and mortgage funders are now, I guess, going to be mandated by the federal government to kind of work with their borrowers, don't you think that's going to kind of I guess lessen the flow of assets to our market down to us?
Well, what I think is, most of the larger lenders, they tend to focus more on the larger loans.
Mhm.
So your first mortgages, is the priority. And a lot of times the second mortgage, the ones that we're buying on the secondary market, they are, they will either be if they're not able to be worked out right away, they'll be basically sold on the secondary market. So I think that we're going to still see those, and we're going to see more of them. That's what I believe.
Okay.
As the focus shifts to, help people, get up to speed and keep up with that first mortgage, that becomes a priority. And then, the second mortgage, kind of gets put on the back burner, for a while.
But well, with the real estate market the way it is with the values, I don't think there's going to be any problem covering the second mortgages with the equity, huh?
The equity. Oh, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So yeah, yes, being in the second space. I mean, I have some paper that I'm holding that, there wasn't really enough equity in the property to push the issue with it. And so I just, put it in the drawer and hold on to it and wait until a time such as this.
Yeah.
And, now I can
work something out now.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of that, of second positions, what made you, I know because we talked about this previously, but what made you decide to make your focus second position notes rather than first position notes?
Well, 3 reasons. The first reason is that they were more affordable. They were at an affordable price point for me. So generally speaking, what I would pay for an asset would be somewhere between $2,000 and $8,000 per loan. So what I was paying. And so that was more affordable to me. Secondly, the homes tended to be nicer because people will oftentimes take out a second mortgage to improve the property. So, redo the kitchens, baths, put a pool in the back, things like that. And the third reason really is that I wanted to lessen the likelihood that I would have to take over the property.
Right.
So if I'm buying a distressed second mortgage and the homeowner is current on their first mortgage, that lets me know that there's some interest in them wanting to keep that property. It's not as likely that someone's going to lose their home over a $20,000 or $30,000 second mortgage if they can work out a payment and get back on track with it. Right. So I didn't, if I bought a first mortgage and it was delinquent, I really had no idea if the homeowner wanted to keep the property or not. They could just be living in it for free, waiting for the foreclosure to happen.
Right.
And so that's not a situation I wanted to be in. So yeah, those are the 3 reasons: affordability, the homes being nicer, and also the less likelihood of having to take over the property.
That's true. That's true. Okay. So what do you think? Let's talk a little bit about, so Daphne has a training program for mortgage note investing. And I'm assuming that, yes, it focuses on second position notes, correct? So talk to us a little bit about your training program.
Yes. I started teaching the note business probably after I had been investing myself for a couple of years. And I did that because, quite honestly, I had a tough time finding someone to teach me this business. I mean, I don't know what your experience was like, but
I'm interviewing you today. So.
I'm sure you have some stories.
I have many.
I couldn't get anybody to reply to my LinkedIn message. I couldn't get, it was, and so I just felt like, hey, when I finally did, come upon a mentor, I said, look, I have the money. I'm ready to do this. Let me know what you need from me. I'm not asking you to do anything for free. I know this is business. I'm asking for your expertise and your guidance. And so I just felt at this point, anyone that saw an opportunity for themselves to do this, they should be able to, because this is, and I consider a very affordable real estate investment. I don't know any other long-term monthly cash flowing asset that you can own, for $5,000.
Mhm.
So I felt that, this is something that should be shared. My workshop is self-paced. It's online, so when you register for it, you get your login credentials right away. And for a person that doesn't have anything else to do, they're not working on anything at the moment, they could probably complete it in about a week and a half. Most of my students, though, have full-time jobs or family responsibilities, and so they just work on it as they get a chance. But it's completely comprehensive. I only offer one workshop, so there isn't anything else that you need to take. And it includes, it really starts at the very beginning. It assumes no prior real estate investing experience at all. You don't have to have a company before you start it. We actually do that in the workshop.
That's good.
Yes, and in addition to that, I also provide a lot of sample documents and templates that you can use in your business, and also resources where you can buy mortgage notes, and how to expand your deal flow even beyond those resources.
Nice. Okay. So everybody, I can see a couple of messages, basically just greetings to everybody, but if anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask Miss Daphne any questions that you might have.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Daphne. Hi, Z. It's
Hi,
Jessica.
Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi there. I just have a question, Daphne, about conferences. Do you attend any conferences, or do you recommend any notes conferences to attend? And did you attend it?
Absolutely. There's two major ones that I attend every year. And one is Note Expo, which is coming up in November. It's usually in the Dallas, Texas area. And it's put on by Note School. I think is the organization that does it every year. And then the other one is Paper Source, the Paper Source Note Symposium. And that one is normally in April of each year. And well, before COVID, we were meeting in Vegas. So I think we may be going back to Vegas in 2022 for that one. So, but those are the two major ones. Now, there are no conferences and symposiums that go on all over the country throughout the year. In California, South Florida, the New York, New Jersey area. So they're kind of all over, but those are the major ones that I go to.
Daphne?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Greg.
Yeah, a couple of things. I don't know if you've been to the Note Expo or not. I went in 2014 with my wife, and yeah, it's in the Dallas area, but at that time, it was at a hotel, and there was nothing else around the hotel, no restaurants, no nothing. So you were kind of stuck with eating the hotel food for the entire time, which is not cheap, but otherwise, it was great. So I wanted to ask you, if you're willing to share this, what is the size of your portfolio, or give us an approximate size of it? Thank you.
Sure. I don't have a huge portfolio. I usually hold anywhere from 30 to 50 notes at once. That's typically what I'm holding. I do occasionally sell an asset, but it's not very often that I will sell. But usually I'm holding anywhere from 30 to 50 assets at any given time.
Is there a reason why you limit it to those numbers?
Well, I do diversify So, I do have other companies.
Other investments.
And so that's a part of, I too believe in multiple streams of income. And so, I have my real estate portfolio, and, as I was more aggressive in my buying when I first started out, now I just kind of buy occasionally, maybe on a quarterly basis. I may buy a small pool, and then when I want to, to do something else, then I'll sell off some assets and, use that money to fund either another venture or recapitalize or something.
I was getting ready to ask, do you keep them until they just pay off or or stop performing and then, sell them off?
Yeah, I'm mostly a buy and hold investor for the most part, but I will, like I said, will occasionally sell an asset if I want to invest in something else or do something else.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, Daphne.
Yeah.
How you doing? Just wanted to comment on your class. I'm a student, about 80% through the class. It's really a great class. In case anyone's wondering, it's a great investment. She really gives a lot of strategy, and she gives you strategies how to do real-time investing. So she doesn't just like, you're not just reading something and then you don't know what to do. She gives you the strategies. She answers a lot of questions. When you type in questions in the chat, she gets right back to you. So it's really a comprehensive, very good program. In case anyone's wondering, it's really worth it. So I invest in real estate. I have a real estate company, and I had no idea about this. So I'm able to expand my portfolio. And it's just a lot, to tell you the truth, it's a lot easier to me to do this than the actual real estate game. So it opened my eyes. I just want everybody to know, because sometimes you see these programs and you're like, well, should I invest this much money? It's worth it. Like I'm 85% or 75% through, and it's a great program. So I just wanted to share that.
All right. Well, thanks for that testimonial. That's nice.
I'll foot stomp that. This is Jessica again. I finished Daphne's course, and she has been wonderful. It is also a one of the pluses about the program is that people are encouraged to ask questions. And so Daphne encourages you to read the questions and the answers as they come in, and to ask questions, because your questions may help someone else. And so I learned as much from the questions that were asked from the students as I learned from the course as well. And at the end, you're completely set up to be an independent investor once you're done the course. So I can foot stomp Brian's comment too.
Absolutely. And she didn't ask us to say this. She didn't ask me. She didn't ask me. She didn't, she didn't know I was coming on.
I didn't know anybody. Yeah, I didn't know you guys.
That's good. Wow.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Awesome. So good. One question, Daphne, if you don't mind, what's the cost of the training program?
It's $19.96 is the cost of it. There's also there's a monthly payment plan where it breaks that $19.96 up into 4 monthly payments. Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, my question is, because it seemed like it's just a big thing in the real estate market, and I'm wondering, with someone doing these notes, how would it affect if the real estate went bust? Like if it just exploded, like, how would this affect you having notes or holding on to notes, and when not to hold on and let them go?
Excellent question. Excellent question. As I mentioned earlier in our talk, I am highly risk averse. So one of the things that really drew me to this industry was the fact that notes really are a hedge against the volatility of the real estate market. If you take out a mortgage, then it doesn't matter, and say you owe $30,000. it doesn't matter what the real estate market does, you still owe $30,000. Okay, so that is not affected at all.
Okay.
Now, not only do you owe $30,000, but your primary residence is on the line.
That's the
Okay,
second
so-
position notes now.
Yes, second position notes, that's right. What makes it just as secure as a first mortgage. Both are secured by the property. That's what makes it a mortgage. If you don't pay the second mortgage, that lien holder of the second mortgage can foreclose and take your home. So, so I've always, viewed notes as a hedge against the volatility. So, while things are going on in the market, it does not affect the fact that that homeowner still owes that money. You cannot take out a mortgage and not pay it back.
Okay.
And
I have a question.
with first position notes, although most note investors don't look to have the property, we don't want the property. We want you to stay in your property because you staying in the property and paying your mortgage means that you get your capital back. But in the event that you don't, your home is the collateral that we will foreclose on to, get that capital back.
Thank
I
you.
have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, in the state of North Carolina, if you have a second position to a senior lender, typically, and if the senior lender forecloses, it basically wipes out where it's subordinated to that loan. Is that the same thing everywhere else, or do you pick and choose what states you do business in because of that?
What happens in the wonderful world of seconds is that, my criteria before I buy a distressed second mortgage is that the homeowner is current on their first mortgage. That's the first thing. If you are highly risk averse and you want to protect your investment as best as you absolutely can, before you buy that note, the second thing you're going to check is the equity position of the property. So you want to see if there is equity above what's owed on the first mortgage, so that just in case down the line, the homeowner stops paying the first mortgage and the senior lien holder starts the foreclosure process. If they foreclose, that first lien holder is going to get what they're owed. And then the surplus funds, the equity, will go to the lien holder of the second mortgage. So before you even buy that second mortgage, you will know the equity position of the property. And you'll be able to determine whether or not you're going to be in a good position in case something should happen and that homeowner stops paying the first.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right. Guest has his hand raised.
I have a question.
Hold on. I have somebody that has their hand raised.
Okay.
It says LG Stylo 4.
That's me, Omar. I
All
forgot.
right.
Yeah, I apologize. I forgot to put my name in.
No worries.
No,
Go ahead
don't
with your question.
It sounds like I think you answered it already. What type of properties do you teach to buy second mortgages on? It sounds like single family residential, but I want to make sure what kind of properties do you teach to buy second mortgage these strategies on?
Good question. It is primarily single family residential. But it can also be, it can also be on other types of property. It could be a multi-unit residential. You don't see too many second mortgages on things like mobile homes and land, though there are some out there, but not very many. So primarily single family residential.
Nice. Thank you.
All right. Paviel.
Yes. Hi. Good evening, Daphne. How are you?
Hi, Paviel.
Hey. So I am also a student student of Daphne's, and I confirm what the others have stated. Daphne is thorough. Her class, her course is excellent. Um, so I had a question, Daphne, for you in regards to a client that I have that is looking to purchase a foreclosure in West Palms. And so I wanted to know with the foreclosure process, um, could we create a mortgage on that, for the purchase of that property?
If the home is already in foreclosure, the best thing would be to purchase that. You would be purchasing that home at the foreclosure auction. If that home is already gone through the foreclosure process, then the lender is looking to exit through the property. So they are looking to get their money out through the property. So it's a good bet that that's gone pretty far along in the process. The only thing you really be able to do is purchase that as an REO or at the foreclosure auction. If you won the auction and actually took possession of the property, and you may need to fix the property up, or it may be okay as is, then you could do seller financing and then carry the note on that property.
Okay, but to obtain the property, it would have to be obtained traditionally, not through strategy of notes.
Right, yeah, because it would have gone too far along in the foreclosure process at that point. So
Okay, thank you.
Jessica, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Z. Daphne, do you do business in any states that require you to have a debt collector's license?
yes, I do.
Is that cost what would you say the range in cost is? Is it the same across from state to state, or does it vary?
It varies. There's only about 5 states that require that. And, in a couple of the states, it's very, very minimal, less than $1,000. And, in other states, it could be, 4,000, or something around there, 4,000 or 5,000. But that's what you're looking at in terms of the cost for that. And, and that's not a bad thing to do, because a lot of times investors, particularly new investors, they'll shy away from those states because it's like, well, 45 other states, why do I need, but I mean, as an investor though, if you choose to focus on that, then that's a lot more notes for you because nobody is, really looking at those. So,
right.
So is that something that you go over in your course as well, how to obtain the debt collector's license?
I don't, because I want the real purpose of the workshop is to teach you how to invest in notes and to bring you all the way through that process. There are going to be kind of nuances that you may not even come across depending on, what your focus is in your investment business. So it would be, it's better for me instead of creating coursework around the exceptions, better to kind of do a one-on-one and talk about that with the student. Yeah.
Understood. All right. I don't see any more questions. Let's find that. All right. Oh, she said, any tips? Got my real estate license. I'm not sure what that question is. Darlene, you have any tips? Just got your real estate license. Are you talking about in regards to purchasing notes, or was that the question that you asked about foreclosure?
No, that wasn't her about the foreclosure. That was just me and overall as far as like, wanting to do a diverse portfolio like she spoke about. So
Gotcha.
she was like, no, it wasn't all about the notes for her because she was also dabbling in other streams of income. So as a newbie coming into the field, this was, taking on some ideas who I was willing to share with
Right.
you,
That's
how
the
to
whole
get
purpose of the show.
Yes.
The whole purpose of
That's
the
what
show.
that was about.
All right, cool. All right, so I don't see any more questions, but wow, what a turnout. This is the biggest. You brought all your people with you
Awesome.
today.
I
All right,
didn't
hold
know
on.
they were coming. That's so,
Share the
that's so
screen
awesome.
again. So I'm gonna share the screen again with Daphne's information here. So everybody, please feel free to reach out to her. You see, she got all the backup here. Everybody is vouched for her. So she's the real deal. And I want to appreciate you and thank you again for joining me and giving me the platform to give you a platform. So
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
Lee. I really appreciate this. And thanks for everybody that came on, attended, and asked questions. And I really hope this information has has enriched you. And I want you guys to look at notes and look at it as a viable option for your portfolio because it's so doable, so doable. So don't miss out on this opportunity, especially given what's going on in the real estate industry right now today. There's just going to be a lot of opportunity. The space is far from saturated. There's a handful of us that invest in notes. We pretty much all know each other in this community. So come on aboard and be a part of this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Lee.
All right. Hey, y'all have a good one. And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Daphne.
Thank you.
All right.